We're going to be solving two different problems here. One of them is about the perimeter and the other one is about the area. You're always going to follow 4 steps when you're dealing with a word problem. And we're going to start off with step 1 right now, which is to take notes. So for step 1, take notes means draw a picture if you can, make a bulleted list of the items that they gave you. But in this case, we're talking about a rectangular garden, so it's perfect for a picture. I'm going to draw my rectangle first. And they told me that the perimeter of the rectangle is 376. So I'm just going to label here P equals 376. That's the perimeter. And if the width of the garden is 89, so the width in a picture is always going to be the shorter side, so I'm going to put 89 for this side. And they also told us that what is the length. They're asking us what's the length. I don't know what it is, and in math, if you don't know the value of something, we call it x. So the length is the longer side, so I'm going to call it x here. And that's all the information they gave us. So we have to figure out what is the length in this problem. Which leads us to step 2. So after you take notes, what you want to do is figure out, okay, how am I going to solve this? How am I going to answer that question? And in the second step, what I think of is, what new information can I come up with? Is there a relationship I can see? Is there a formula I need? And in this case, I do know that they mentioned here perimeter. We're talking about perimeter. And to get the perimeter of a rectangle, we need to know the definition of that. So in step 2, when we plan it out, we have to think about those things. Perimeter, P, is equal to the sum of all sides, which means add up all the side lengths. And now, again, we're not solving it. We're just planning it out. So that doesn't mean you're going to start adding things together. We're just trying to describe the relationship. So for perimeter, you have to add all the sides up, the side lengths, and then that's going to tell you what the perimeter is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring down my equal sign, and I'm going to substitute the values that I know. So for example, the perimeter, they told me it was 376. So I'm going to replace this with 376 here. And on the other side, it says that the perimeter is sum of all sides. Well, so far I only labeled 2 sides, but I do know that in a rectangle, the opposite sides are the same length. So if this side here is x, then the opposite side is going to be x also. Again, we don't know what it is, but we know that they have to match. And then if the other side here is 89, then I also know that this side has to be 89 as well. So again, opposite sides in a rectangle are the same. And now what I'm going to do is use the definition. Perimeter means to add up all the side lengths. So in this case, my side lengths are 89 plus x plus 89 plus x. So again, notice I didn't solve anything. I'm not trying to combine anything right now. I'm just trying to show the relationship. That's what planning is. Planning is coming up with a relationship between the information that they gave you. Alright, and then I can see now that I have the equation, all I have to do is solve this equation for x. Because x, don't forget, remember, x represents the length of the missing side, which is what they asked us to find. So that's the plan. So I'm going to go to step 3 now, which is to solve it. In step 1, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine like terms on the right side. So I get 376 equals 89 plus 89, which is 178. And then x plus x is equal to 2x. So again, I combined the x's together, x plus x, that's the same thing as 1x plus 1x. And then the 89 plus the 89, those are the like terms. And now I continue solving it. I'm going to subtract 178 to both sides. That's the subtraction property of equality. And I get 198. This is a 0 pair. They cancel out. And we'll bring down to 2x. And then the last step I can see here, I have to divide both sides by 2. And when I simplify both sides, I get 1x on the right. And on the left side, I'm going to get 99. So I found the value of x, and don't forget in my sketch, x represents the length of the missing side, to the length. So we're saying the length is 99, which leads us to the last step, step number 4, which is a very important step, is did I get the answer correct? So for one, did we answer the question? X equals 99, where x, we know that x is the length. So this is the length. So we did answer the question. We had the length, which is 99. And now, how do I know it's the correct answer? I can just go and substitute it into the original problem. So the original setup, we know that the widths were 89. And we're now saying x is represented by 99. That's the actual length. So to check my work, all you have to do is add up all the sides and see, does it equal 376 as they told us in the beginning. So I do 89 plus 99 plus 89 plus 99. And when I add that all together, I get a total of 376. So it does work out. We found the length, so we answered the question. And when I checked it, we added up all the sides, and it does come out to be 376 meters. Therefore, we know 100% for a fact that this is the correct answer. Now we're going to look at another problem, but you can see in this case, we're talking about area and not perimeter. So step one, again, we're always going to take notes first. The area of a rectangular window is 6,699 centimeters squared. That should be an exponent. It's a little typo there. It says if the length of the window is 87 centimeters, what is the width? So step one, take notes. So it's similar to the last problem. I'm going to draw a sketch because we're talking about a rectangular window. I'm going to label the given information in my window. So it says the length of the window is 87. So the longer side is always the length. So I'll put 87 there. And we also know that we're trying to find the width. So I'm just going to call the missing side x. The shorter part is the width. And they also told us that the area is equal to 6699. So that's centimeters squared. And notice that the square centimeters, this little note that is, we're talking about the number of squares that fits inside. In the previous problem, we were talking about just meters. Meters is a length. Centimeter squares, we're talking about how many squares fit inside this figure. So it's an area. That's all the notes for step one. So I'm going to move to step two, which is to come up with a plan, which again, what you want to do is figure out, based on the given information, what can you use? Is there a relationship between the length, the width, and the area? And I already know from experience that area is found by multiplying the length and the width. So that is a formula that I can use to help find the missing value. So the formula is something we can use. So what I'm going to do, and again, we're not solving in step two. All we're doing is coming up with the relationship. So in this case, the formula tells us the relationship between the length, the width, and the area. And now we can go ahead and substitute our given values. So the area, which was 6699 centimeters squared, we know the length was 87 times W, the width was represented by X because we don't know that, so I call it X. And that's all set. X is our missing value, and that's what we're looking to solve. What is the width? So if we can solve for X in this equation, we'll have our answer, which I can see is only going to take us one step. So that means we're actually ready for step number 3, which is to solve the equation. And in this case, all we have to do is division property of equality. Divide both sides by 87. And I'm going to get 1x on the right side and 77 on the left side. So that is my solution. The width is 77 centimeters. So I'm going to go to step 4 now, since we solved for x. So x equals 77 centimeters. And that is, remember, in our picture, x was the width. So this is the width of the rectangle. So step 4, you want to check your work and see, did you answer the question? What is the width? The width we're saying is 77 centimeters, so we did answer the question. And the only thing left to do is just check your work. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the formula we had before. Area is length times width. I'm going to substitute all the numbers. So I'm going to replace the missing value with 77 because that was our width. And now I'm just going to simplify the right side. 87 times 77. And when I multiply that out, it does come out to be 6699. So both sides match up. So I know 100% sure, I'm 100% confident or sure that the width of the rectangle or the width of the window is 77 centimeters.